I do want to get more of Xeris' backstory, because we got that little bit of him as a child with his dad.
The higher the stakes, the more intricate his planning is. You got Roman, you got Shepard. Shepard has always been the commander, the soldier, the army guy. Roman is more of like the Han Solo. So basically swap Han Solo for Commander Shepard, and you've got a pretty good plot.
An explosion that comes out of his body.
So a spirit bomb, if you will.
A spirit bomb?
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference. Make fun of the invisibility part. Make fun of my creative brain. Okay?
See, that's more...
Are you about to say realistic? That's more realistic.
Humans flying on their own is realistic, yeah.
I would say...
Wrong.
It was just so much going on, so I took a break. And during that break, I was like fiending. And then when I got back into it, I finished it in like 2 days.
Coming to you from an endless library, where every book is read and every spoiler discussed. Join us as we dig into the lives of fictional people who cannot defend themselves. This is the SideQuest Book Club. Welcome back, SideQuesters, to Part 3 of Vitalerium. Happy to have you all back on Diorum. Today we're covering the end of the book, chapters 21 through 31, so spoilers ahead if you're new here. Everything is on the table. And then next episode, can't wait for this, we're going to talk with the author himself, Nicholas Keating Casbarro. Be sure to follow him on Instagram. We'll put something up here. Instagram or his other socials. And follow along as Vitalerium continues to unfold across the galaxy, because he's got a 10-year plan where he wants to make video games. He's got comics coming out already. He wants to make movies, shows, all that stuff. So be sure to give him your support. All right, guys, let's get into it. How did the book come to a close for you? We had this rise up. It's 31 chapter book. There's a prologue. There's an epilogue. But how did the book go for you as an ending?
I'll tell you what, I am hungry, and that is an understatement, for everything to come next. Talk about a cliffhanger, talk about an ending. Like, it was a great closure to the book, but it left so much more on the horizon, and I cannot wait to keep diving into this. It was beautifully executed.
So you're saying you want more?
I want more. I'm not all done.
Yeah, it definitely ended unexpectedly for me. I was kind of expecting maybe like a confrontation with Xeris, like between Roman and Xeris. I felt like the author was kind of setting that up. And so I think there for sure will be, obviously, whether that's in book 2 or beyond. But I guess I was kind of waiting for it in book 1, so I was a little bit disappointed in that. But I felt like he ended in a good spot, and he definitely sets it up well for book 2, and maybe for this confrontation to take place at some point in book 2. So it was good.
He's definitely not afraid to leave something to be desired. And there's a lot of arcs, a lot of characters that I just want to learn more and more about, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I can echo those sentiments. I thought the book ended well. Just like you said, Matt, it wrapped up the story and set up the next one really well. It just flawless execution in that. And I think Roman is set up for the next adventure, which is kind of a repeat of what I just said, but him as a character, not just the whole story, which is true, but him as a character is now set up for his next grand adventure. And the fact that Monique died, it gives him extra fervor to get the revenge, but also beyond the revenge, as we've seen and we've talked about, with the girl that he helped, with the people that he saved from the tunnels, with his overall demeanor that we get in bits and pieces about the government and about how the government oppresses the people, he now has a twofold mission: to rescue people, to go after the government that's attacking and oppressing them and trafficking these hybrids, and to get some sweet, sweet revenge for his love. So I think that the setup for the next book is, again, wonderfully done. Really good. I love
The
it.
fact that he gets the army behind him at the end is just it's very unexpected for both sides. For Roman to one lead an army, and for two for Modus to give him this massive inheritance of like the entire Wubbitani lineage. It's
Yeah.
really unexpected, and I think that's what makes it all the better, because it's like, wow. I mean, it's cool that it was done, and it makes sense to the story, and it's a very heavy exclamation point at the end of the book.
It's interesting too, because he went AWOL, right? Like he left the Wubbitani and deserted basically, and was allowed to leave, and then the owner of the Wubbitani is just like, hey, I can't take it any further, which is why in terms of like Modus's response, which is why I believe that Monique is dead, which is surprising, which I want to ask Nick about, or mention to him, I guess, as like reader to author, right? Because I was like, oh, they're just got a fake photo. It's the future. You can kind of look at what we can do with AI today, and this is 700 years in the future. Like, absolutely can tell that something's like doctored, whatever. So
Yeah, I didn't expect her to be really dead, just like you, Jonathan. But we'll tell this to Nick. I'm glad she's dead, because that gives Romer. That gives Roman. I know a guy named Romer.
Romer, send Roman right over.
Right. It gives Roman more fuel for revenge, right? Because fine, she's alive and they're together and they're going after the CP, okay, it still works. But now he has this rage that he needs to unleash.
That last little bit of a kick in the ass to get him, to propel him forward, whether he wanted to or not. That is his drive now. Love is a great motivator, and it's now dead. So that's why he said it several times while she was alive too. She is the only person that he cares about, the only person that he has any connection to of value, and that's why it was so heavy for him.
Yep.
Have you guys ever trauma bonded with a love interest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Me too.
Yes.
Oh!
No.
Spencer!
I don't think I have.
I was going to ask for a story.
Had to feel included there for a second.
Oh. Spencer's like, I don't have any trauma. It's not like I was raised in a cult or anything.
Yeah.
Side quest.
So, hot take. I think Monique is still alive. I don't think she's actually dead.
I do too.
I think that Xeris captured her and is somehow going to use her against Roman in a future scene. Obvious, like the narrative works. Hold on, Jonathan. The narrative
Shut
works.
up,
I didn't say anything. I'm
Shut
just
up.
waiting to
You
say
were
something.
body.
You were thinking it.
I'm undulating.
Let Spencer finish.
So the narrative works, right? Roman still thinks that she's dead, and so he has all the motivation that he needs. But then there's going to come a point where he's going to go up against Xeris, and all of a sudden, Xeris is just going to be like, boom, Monique's alive, and you better do what I say, otherwise Monique gets it for real. And now it might not be like I'm not saying it's going to be that exact scene. However, I do think that she's alive, and Xeris will somehow find a way to use her against Roman.
What if she is a CP guardsman now? She's fully automated.
She'd kill herself
into
before that.
How? If she's torn
Usually
apart and
with a
put in
gun.
her brain put into a cyborg.
And a bullet.
He seems so. That seems to be Xeris's MO. Actually, is using people as leverage against the people he wants to lever. He's done it with Norville. He's done it with who's the general? Darok, I think. He's done it with a couple of the other politicians that you've talked to. It seems like every time he is a part of a big scenario or scene in the book, he is either blackmailing or using something to that effect against somebody else to get what he wants. Very manipulative, and that's what I appreciate about him as a villain and a psycho. And I'm on Spencer's side. I think she's still alive.
But here's the thing:
but
Xeris hasn't spoken anything about the Wubbitani. He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give about.
They're
They're
so small
fish.
potatoes to him.
Exactly.
Why
Not
would he
anymore.
why would he even bother capturing her beforehand. I actually see, if she's not dead, it's the Golden Phoenix, because he wants to get involved.
Maybe.
Oh, you think the
Either
Golden
the
Phoenix
Golden
has
Phoenix?
Monique if she's alive?
If she's alive, the Golden Phoenix took her, because you can't tell me that the Golden Phoenix doesn't have inside people in, like, the CP guards working with Xeris. Like, I would be shocked. I think
that's all parties.
I would be
though.
shocked.
I think it's all parties. I think the Wubbitani has moles. I mean, it's espionage, right? Every faction has
what's the guy,
plants.
The runner right hand that gets shit on the whole time? What's his name?
I don't remember.
Because just before the attack happens, he's with the Wubbitani, right? Like, just before the attack happens, he's like, gets a text and he gets all nervous. Anybody? No one's gonna look his name up for me. All right, cool.
I don't remember that part actually.
No.
So
I don't remember that either.
Did you guys read the book?
No.
What book?
I listened.
Serenity now.
Serenity now. Insanity later.
That I think she is alive, but Nick did a really good job of making it really, really cement that she is dead through the ending of the book, and even when Roman and Modus were wrestling, Modus went through play by play and said, I sent her up the ladder, it should have been me. He basically said, I saw her get vaporized right in front of my face climbing up this ladder. She is dead. But, I mean, this many years in the future, I mean, the Golden Phoenix ritual where he just slits his throat, bleeds out, and then automatically is fine from spray, anything can happen. Anything can happen. There's a whole lot of unknowns left, and I think it was too early for Monique to go. I didn't think she was going to die. I thought maybe she'd be captured or something like that, but I think she still has a bigger part to play, especially since Nick also said that somebody cosplayed one of the more prominent characters. So, little conspiracy.
Well, I hope she's dead.
Okay, Slava.
He did.
Way to be that guy.
I mean, I like Monique. I'm going to say this over and over again. I like Monique as a character. I think she's a cool chick and a good character. But for the reasons I already stated, Roman needs to go all
move on.
Orphanage, psycho, revenge dude.
That seems to be something with Roman too. The higher the stakes, the more intricate his planning is. First instance, the orphanage. Takes him a whole year to plan this all out. And then you've got the glowworms. It's a big thing. He doesn't want certain crew people to come with him, like Nails and Strider and stuff like that. He wants to pick his own crew. And that interferes a little bit with how he tackles the mission. And it's really cool to see Roman evolve as a character this way, because he's very adaptable. Even though he is a lone wolf, he loves to do it all on his own. But that mission too, from a military perspective, the logistics, the preemptive stuff, the planning, all of that was really, really well done and described in detail. The execution, however, seemed quite a bit more chaotic, and I think that's just due to the fact that they had a crackhead and a crackhead, a bodyguard, and basically an android as his support on the mission.
Just lobbing grenades,
throwing
taking
grenades.
bumps, and
and action.
I found it. I found exactly what I was talking about. Page 489. It says it's just after Modus pays Roman and dismisses the group, and they've did their chant, their little rah-rah. As the rugged group files out of the office, Dres's tab chimes, prompting him to read the message he's received. His eyes widen as they dart back and forth through the text, and he turns away from Modus to read in privacy. Once finished, he immediately deletes it and hides his wrist behind his back nervously. I have to check on our new satellite club. Just got word that one of the Clippers, that the contractors started building out the bar on the wrong side of the fucking room. His cadence sticks out to Roman, who even in his state of exhaustion notices something strange about his demeanor. Modus squints, etc., etc., etc. So
Dres?
Dres.
Dres.
Yes, sir.
I don't
Dres.
even know much about Dres. Was he in other parts of the book? He was just the number 2.
Yeah.
Here and there.
No.
It's here and there.
He felt insecure when he didn't know about the big job that Monique and Roman were given.
Yep.
Was he the one that was throwing the shit at him when we first
Yes.
got to meet Modus? Okay,
Yes.
that's Dres. Okay,
That's Dres, yeah. So we got Dres, who's, right hand to the Wubbitani, or was. Just before the attack happens, he gets a text, and he disappears.
yeah, that's very fishy. I didn't catch that. I must have been listening to it while I was driving.
Yeah, I remember
part.
that. Now that you bring it up, Jonathan, I forgot about it completely. But yep, that happens.
Okay, well, let me go through the rest of these chapters for you guys. Well,
Why don't you
just
just
read
start
the book
reading?
for us? Just read,
Yeah,
read
just
the
read.
book for
Start
us.
sorry,
Start at
guys.
chapter
Welcome to the
23.
book. Welcome to the book club. Here we go. This is where
this is our
Jonathan
audible
reads the book
recording.
to you. And then Slava
less
showed up
production value.
and made a terrible dinner because he's actually an awful cook.
Oh. Well, screw this book.
I don't remember
that
that in the book.
Sucks.
Yeah.
That's not in here?
Yeah.
Are you reading the unabridged version, maybe?
The
It's
first
the-
draft.
It's the unalived version, actually.
First,
The
unalive.
unalived.
What's a hot take you guys have on this section, or a conspiracy, or anything like that?
I feel like my hot take
Other
is
than
already
other than
shared.
Monique.
Okay,
kinda
okay.
Gotcha,
being
Spence.
Dead.
Ah,
gotcha.
dang it.
Something other than hot Monique takes.
I'm going to leave that one right there.
I'm just saying. That can be read two different ways.
Uh,
And you read it the wrong way.
well, I'm only reading it based on other data points where Roman wakes up with 2 ladies in his bed. So, whatever.
Well,
It's his life.
I think Monique made him forget about the 2 ladies. Because he's sincerely in love with this woman, by the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So all his philandering?
Yeah,
Philandering.
philandering.
Yeah.
Before this was, again, to make him forget all his shit that he's went through. It's typical behavior for a guy like Roman. But when he meets Monique, things change. He changes. He reorients himself on her. And granted, he doesn't change completely because, this
Roman.
takes a couple of weeks,
Yeah,
the
it's
time
like a-
frame.
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, like Monique reorients him. So
I think they reorient each other. But in terms of hot takes, I want to see Norval kill someone. That's not really a hot take. That's just what I want to see happen.
no.
What was the question?
Hot take conspiracy that doesn't involve Monique, because I think that's the obvious conspiracy is like, is she really dead or is she not? I want something a little bit different off the cuff there.
Huh.
Mine is all of the people that are the hybrid captors and stuff like that. Obviously, they've been doing it for a while. That is a much larger portion of the story than I think it's being made out to be. I think
Oh, yeah.
that
Say that
they're
differently for me.
I think that they're being rounded up for reasons obviously we don't know, or we think we know, but I don't think it's the full story. I think so. What I'm trying to get to is, you guys remember the movie The Island? Ewan McGregor,
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yep.
That's what I think they're trying to move to. And then the aliens at the
Cloning?
end of the not cloning,
For
but
body part replacement?
not so much that, more for I guess kind of more of enhancements, because they're hybrids specifically. They're not just regular humans, they're hybrids. And then you have the Vitalerium stuff that's coming into it too. All of that is becoming much and more valuable and more desired as a resource, and they're trying to find ways to enhance certain things. That's why he did the weapons testing in the first part of the book. I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but there's so much more, I think, to the technology that is being underplayed, that
Oh, yeah.
it's and why I bring it back to the island is because there's a scene in the island where, when they're running away from all the guards, and they run into where they have all of the clones, and they're just sitting there programming
things.
them with their memories, and it's tubes everywhere. Their bodies are just laying there limp, and they bump them off, and if they're off, they just start flailing around, and they're just sickly. And there's got to be more to it, because they saved a couple of them, but we don't really find out what happened to the couple of them. We don't get to like interrogate or question or
Yeah.
meet any of these things. It's just Wendy, and Wendy, all she got to do was say pretty much thank you,
Thanks, Roman.
and then fuck for the rest of this book. I was like, wow, I want to, I want to know more. Like, this is a huge turning point. One, Nails dies, which that was pretty cool. I loved Nails as a character. But
Carrying
there
a
was a
frickin'
whole
nuclear bomb in his backpack.
well, that and a bunch of coke, snorting it off of his gun mid-combat, throwing grenades. Oh, it was great. Fantastic.
And he dies like the dad in Independence Day. Just,
Hello, boys! I'm back!
just like going balls to the wall, all out. Like, F you aliens. You know. Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
die on my terms.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, to your point, I think that Xeris is trying to, well, again, what it appears is that Xeris is trying to create an army.
Yes.
And
take
so
on
he
IGB.
needs, right, because he doesn't have the resources that the IGB does, he needs to change the playing field somehow. And so that is for him, that's creating a, like an army of super soldiers, basically, of where he can take on the IGB. And so when he finds out, too, about Roman, and that's why he sends the other guy, I forget his name, but to try to capture Roman because they found out about his abilities.
Riku, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's why, like you said, there's more going on with the hybrid people and why they're being captured and all of that. So,
And no one cares if they go missing because they're just the dregs
Right.
of society.
yeah.
Well, they're kind of. There's a lot of the people are like, what was it? The news reporter. I like those little sections too. Those little snippets,
Interlude
vignettes,
things,
of just like interludes, intermissions of the reporting. It's just like, okay, so this is what a citizen sees. And kind of calling back to like real life now too. Is just like, all right, well, in other news, Trump said blah. It's like, okay, well, I'm tired of seeing all this news. It kind of comes across as like more hybrids are missing. Everybody's like, what else is new?
Cool. Yeah.
Who cares? So it's the way that Nick writes these parts. It tickles me in a different way because it's like I want to know more, but then he segues right into the next start of the next arc or plot point or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, well, I just did exactly what every other civilian in this world does and forgets all about that until I decide to think deeper about it, and now I just want to know all of the things. So that's my conspiracy. There's a lot more between the capture of the hybrids and all of this, that whole chapter just baffles me. I want to know more.
Before they go into their hot takes, Matt, I wanna tap into your Star Wars brain.
What's a Star War?
What's a Star War? How does this compare with like how sci-fi has been shown, fed to us, given to us historically, right? Where it's like we have Star Wars is like probably like the biggest sci-fi IP. And now we have something
that
that's
or Star
coming
Trek, yeah.
out. Yeah, that's fair. Star Trek too. I'm thinking about like action oriented because I wouldn't call Star Trek. I didn't say this. I was thinking of it. Star Trek is more like intellectual, exploring.
It's
like
it's more sci-fi, less
Marco
of like
Polo
space
or
opera.
Magellan
Gotcha.
went to explore the universe is how I see Star Trek. But for Star Wars, and I don't know how to really form this question well, how do you see it comparing? How does it relate? Pros and cons compared to like the OG?
So Star Wars is much more on the sci-fi space opera side of it, whereas Vitalerium is much more gothic, cyber, metal, punk, whatever. So it's more akin to life that we kind of know because it's still Earth and human. Star Wars, there's no Earth.
That's fair.
It's a different it's a galaxy far, far away. There's millions of different races and how the political climate is interacting with a galactic empire or senate and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to compare the two, quite honestly, because I mean I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite things of all time. But it doesn't compare to Vitalerium as Vitalerium doesn't compare to Star Wars. because they're same, but different. In the fact that Star Wars takes place in a universe far, far away, or a galaxy far, far away. Vitalerium takes place in places that we know and have learned about in our own history, and it's just years in the future. So it's more believable and less of a fiction than it is Star Wars is pure fiction. Like, they have humans, yes, but they're not like, they know they're not alone in the galaxy. In Vitalerium, humans, I don't know if humans know they're alone. Maybe they've met a couple species.
I mean, they've
I'm
got
sure
the
they have
glyph,
in their
right?
spacefaring. Yeah.
They're like,
and-
we know the glyph were here, so we
Yeah.
can actually prove that there
Well, and-
is something else, or was
Yeah.
something else.
And technically, I mean, the fauna of the different plants, it's like Diorum, that's an alien. Like what's the big creature thing?
Yeah, that Roman fights, whatever
Yeah,
that's called.
that's technically, that would be an alien. It's a species. It's not
Right.
a
I mean, even the
humanoid,
hybrid
I
become
guess.
an alien species, basically.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell a Star Wars fan,
A Star Wars fan. What would I
a
about?
Star Warian, if you will?
What would I
to-
tell them about this book to get them to read this book?
Yeah, to enjoy something a little bit outside their bread and butter.
Change your expectation. That's what I would do. I went into this without an expectation, and I think that was the best thing for me. Because if I was expecting it to be a Star Wars, a space opera, or something like that, or something to the effect, on the level of like Mass Effect or anything like that, it's more like Mass Effect
Sure.
than it is Star Wars. I think that's a better description.
Go
of
on, say more.
it. Mass Effect, again, it's in the universe that we live in. It's like there's Earth, there's a couple other things, Andromeda, galaxies, stuff like that. But for Star Wars people, this is something that, as far as the book is concerned, because Star Wars was a movie first, so it was a lot more adaptable, or not adaptable, consumed by a lot more people because it's shorter. The book is significantly longer. I think it was 35 hours on Audible. But the book, it's fantastic. It holds a lot of space, that Star Wars did for me, of the suspense, but it wasn't like eerie suspense. It was edge of your seat action. Characters were fantastic at development, plot, scene, everything. It's just, I mean, amazing. And where I brought in Mass Effect is, you got the hero, the titular hero. You got Roman, you got Shepard. Shepard is always been the commander, the soldier, the army guy. Roman is more of like the Han Solo. So basically swap Han Solo for Commander Shepard, and you've got a pretty good plot, or at least a pretty good protagonist, at least right there.
Yeah, I'll buy that for $1.
This Vitalerium almost feels more like comic booky, like versus Star Wars. Just the way, I feel like the way it's written just seems, yeah, like Marvel almost, in a sense, where you have, characters gaining powers and then becoming a superhero. That feels more, so Vitalerium feels like that, more Marvel maybe versus Star Wars in that regards.
I'll clap back on that. I think it's less like Marvel because it's one person. So it's not, it's
one
well, I guess
person
it could
right
be like
now.
an origin, but you do find in the epilogue, I guess, I'll walk that back, that it could be more common than we're led to believe, at least in the first book. So it feels like it's the origin story potentially for a hero who is a little bit more than meets the eye, and then potentially find more allies who also have abilities. Now that I'm talking through it, yeah, I can see that. There's a lot to be desired, 100%, and not in a bad way at all.
Yeah, agreed. Like, he definitely, Nick, the author, he definitely left a bunch open for obvious reasons, right? Just he's got a lot more that he's planned to write. So, yeah, definitely a great intro book, into this new universe. Yeah, so like you said, there's a reason that it's a lot left open, but yeah, a lot to be desired for good reasons.
I think, the same level of enjoyment out of this one book, knowing that there's more to come, that I did getting out of Warbreaker. Warbreaker was kind of like a finality. Like, I don't really feel like I have to read any more of that universe. I know you really want me to. But I feel like after reading Warbreaker, that was a good read. I don't need to read any more. Fantastic book, fantastic characters, fantastic setting. I feel the same way about Vitalerium, but there's more to it, and I can't wait to read more. I want that out of the books that I read. Warbreaker was great. It was a one-time book. Vitalerium, it's built this universe, it's built these characters, and I really, 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 really want to see more.
Fair enough. We disagree on the Warbreaker part, but I'll let it
You're
slide.
you're entitled to your opinion, even though it's wrong.
This is America. You're allowed to be wrong.
Sanderson's just, it's a big one. That's daunting.
It's true.
But that's what makes it worth it in the end.
I do listen to his preachings and stuff. Preachings. Jeez.
Yeah? I've never heard those.
I've never heard Sanderson
Tell me
preach, so
more.
go on.
Please
Matt
convert us,
became
Matt.
Matt is a Mormon now.
His
Words
classes,
of Sanderson.
classes that he teach about like creativity,
The
and
writing
story
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
The
That's
writing
what I meant.
classes. His
Preachings,
sermons.
Lectures.
lectures. There you go, lectures.
Sermons.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Slava. And it helps me kind of write like my characters for D&D and stuff like that in different scenarios. So I appreciate the work that he does. It's just a lot and it's daunting. But back to Vitalerium. Nick has done a really good job of keeping me interested in a very short amount of time. Like, it took me the first 10 chapters to not want to stop reading. It took me the first 3 chapters to not want to stop
Yeah.
reading.
Oh, yeah.
There's been several times in this book where I sat either in my truck or stopped what I was doing and just like leaned in and just listened or focused or read a couple times over what was on the page. And I wanted to get I wanted to squeeze the scenario or whatever I was doing out of every little drop out of the whatever I was consuming right there. And I haven't had that in a book that I've actually read since I think like middle school with Aragon. I don't remember a time reading a book and just I couldn't wait to move on to the next page, but I didn't want to leave the page because of fear of I was missing something.
Oh, interesting.
And I did. I missed stuff. We just found out. I missed the Dres. Dres, whatever his
Dres.
name is. Dres. Dres is from D&D. Dres. I missed that part. And I'm sad. I might have to just go read the book again.
There you go. Yeah.
Pretty normal.
I don't know if I have any hot takes outside of Monique. I'm sitting here rattling my brain, trying to think of what theory do I have. I think your theory is pretty interesting, Matt, because we don't know what the hell's going on outside of they're harvesting them for something, right? And it's the Vitalerium fusion that they have to a lesser extent than Roman has, and Roman can control it in ways that the hybrids can't, based on what we know so far. I do want to get more of Xeris' backstory, because we got that little bit of him as a child with his dad, the inciting incident, if you will, for him becoming a psychopath. Murder. And child murder. Murder by children.
Death by
And
child.
I want to get more and more of his backstory. It doesn't have to be a whole chapter dedicated. It could be 2 or 3 more memories. Maybe him with one of his lovers and how that went awry. Maybe something else with his dad. Maybe how he committed other murders as nobody has found out. Maybe some background as to what drives him to do the things he's doing. What has created this drive in him as a young leader of this planet, right? That I would like more of. And I think if I'm going to make a hot take just for shits and giggles here on the fly, we find out that he is, how do I say this without sounding like I'm just rambling, because I kind of am. We find out that there are real things, and by that I mean things that we could maybe sympathize with that happened to him, not sympathize with where he's taken his life, not sympathize with how he reacted to those things, but the things themselves, the events in his life that led him to where he is, are not just going to be, oh, he's a bad guy because he's a bad guy, and this is what bad guys do.
Bad guy shit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So not really a hot take, medium boil take, but
lukewarm.
Yep.
Medium boil take.
It leaves a desired taste in my mouth too, because I'm gonna ask Jonathan before I keep going. Who is the main villain in the Star Wars trilogy?
The original?
Yeah.
Well, in the original,
don't
it's Darth
overthink
Vader.
it. Just get.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. It's Darth Vader. Now,
I was gonna say, yeah.
So think of that. That's the first little taste we have right now of Xeris. It's Darth Vader. Xeris is Darth Vader. He is the bad guy doing bad guy stuff, but we know a little bit about him. We know a little bit about his past, but we don't know why Darth Vader is the way he is. You go to the prequel trilogy, it's all about Darth Vader before he was Darth Vader. It's Anakin. It's about Anakin. You get to see Anakin's rise and fall to becoming Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it'll be just like that. I don't think the story's going to be about Xeris at all. I think it's going to be, we're going to learn a lot more about him, but I think we're going to get a little bit more empathy, and sympathy is not the right word, a little bit more insight into his journey and what got him to where the man he is now, because he's older than Roman by a handful of years. I think Nick said he's like 30 something, 33.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more in his past, and I think Slava, you nailed it too, is like we need to learn a little bit more of why the bad guy is doing the bad guy shit, because a bad guy doing bad guy things is very video gamey, but the way that the book has kind of gone so far, there's a lot more to Xeris than
well, it's not just Xeris. There's
right now.
like the whole book felt like there's a sprinkling here. We don't talk about it again. There's a sprinkling here because, and I think that this gets into Nick's bigger plan, right, of having a 10-year vision, is you can't have a video game and comics and whatever without a lot more going on, not just on world, but in the universe, right? And so I kind of want to see the IGB come and crush Xeris for my own pleasure, even though the IGB is worse. But to quote Sun Tzu, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it would be wild if Xeris and Roman have to team up.
Stranger things have happened. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. But
I was thinking the same thing.
Slava doesn't pay for subscriptions.
Stranger Things is not good. Hot take. Anyways, I forgot where I was going. Yeah, a lot to be desired, a lot of little sprinklings, and there's more to every character, I think, and every plot line.
Except Monique, because she's dead.
Are we?
That's what you think.
Are we gonna get a callback to the girl he saved in a future book?
Ooh, that would be cool.
I was
Maybe
wondering
that'll
that
be one
too.
of your little
What a
vignettes.
question.
I was wondering that too because I think it just seems like such an odd thing to kind of throw in there for no reason. Sure, you can say, oh, it's a glimpse into Roman's more empathetic side.
Empathy
but
is a generous term for this guy.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like it just seems like such a weird thing to throw in there if you're not going to use it for anything else.
I think that was the turning point, because I'm glad he didn't make it a spectacle. Like
It's
where Roman's just a huge asshole for the majority of the book up until that point, and it's not like he just decides to cast off his past self and become the hero of Diorum. It's like, no, I found love. I was an asshole. I found a girl. She treated me great. I treated her great. It was amazing. Now she's dead. Or no, that was before. This was before. But he had some reason. And it wasn't just because he has to move the plot along. He has some reason to do good now. And he wants to. And I'm glad it wasn't like some big spectacle. I'm glad it was just something small. Granted, it was saving a girl. But it wasn't expounded upon, because I think that's the turning point towards... And it's not... I wouldn't really call it a redemption arc, but it would be his rise to heroism, I think.
So I have I have a maybe more on the conspiracy side of things. I don't know. This isn't really a hot take, but based on the epilogue, we see these aliens who appear to be monitoring humanity as a whole, based on their journey, the humans' journey with Vitalerium. So I wonder if there's like some larger alien conflict going on. And then the aliens that we see monitoring the humans need like another ally in their fight versus another alien threat. So this would be like big, large, large picture, like book 10 or whatever, book 7, whatever, how many ever books you wanted, like final conflict sort of thing. So that's I think that's my kind of conspiracy, is like these other aliens need the humans, but the humans haven't really proved themselves yet, and so they're gonna somehow try to move humanity along in some way. I don't know what that would be, but I don't know. That's my conspiracy. I think
I have one more conspiracy, or not conspiracy, I guess thought-provoking aspect. Who do you guys think is the Smoky Jerick?
Well, it's not Jerick. That much I can figure out.
I was trying
shape?
to I was trying to rack my brain about that, and I really didn't know. I couldn't place who it would be, until we saw the aliens.
Until the epilogue, I was in the same boat.
Ubuntus or something like that, where she comes out of this dive or whatever they called it, and then it's
Travel.
like, okay,
scene dive or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that maybe could be something there.
Yeah, I like the connection between the commentary in the beginning and the epilogue. So the ones who are watching the humans are the one who are commenting in the beginning, saying every time they get ahead, they do it well for about 5 minutes, and they start killing each other and do things stupid.
Checks out.
Yeah,
it's very omniscient.
Yeah.
Very human of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have. Well, I don't even know if we have enough information to know who Jerick is, and whether it's not just a fever dream of trauma, which is like entirely possible, or not.
Well, it only started happening after the Vitalerium exposure, so it's tied to Vitalerium in some way, and it gives me. So you guys remember the Bane trilogy?
Nope. It happened beforehand.
Yeah, I was fairly certain it was happening before the whole Vitalerium exposure.
When he wakes up in his dream and he's naked on the beach and Jerick is busting his balls, and then the Vitalerium event happens, and then Jerick continues.
Was it when he was nearby in the tent then? So he was still by the Vitalerium meteor?
No, it was before he went to get it.
Okay.
He did a job, and he was sleeping in his tent, and he has a dream of being naked on the beach and Jerick coming to him. He wakes up, grabs his tent, and then he gets the job to get the Vitalerium.
Okay. I'm a little out of sequence then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why the implication of like it could just be trauma, it could be a fever dream. Like there are, I think, 2 or 3 instances where it happens before, and then the incident of it happening during the Vitalerium job where he throws the grenade and then it explodes into him. Like that happens as well. So like,
yeah, I thought it was some sort of fever dream.
Yeah.
Before the end of the book, and even up until the end of the book, I thought it was just him dealing with trauma, having some kind of fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it could have been exacerbated because of Vitalerium. Right now, it could be more.
It does seem more common and pronounced now that the Vitalerium exposures happen.
Stronger connection to the fever dreams or the nightmares. Yeah, but that could just be because he's got a radiation crystal lodged in his body. So
all over his body.
I wonder then. This climbs my conspiracy then. If that was the case, then I wonder if the aliens, Ubuntus and them, or if Roman himself is destined or chosen at some point to be subject to that kind of stuff. because
Say
it
that
happened.
differently?
If it happened before the Vitalerium, then I wonder if, from the perspective of Ubuntus, she chose Roman and decided to condition or dive into his psyche for whatever reason to turn him into or set him on a path that maybe he wasn't supposed to do. And then overarching theory is he is chosen by the aliens to do certain number of things, bring about some path. I don't know. This is where my conspiracy kind of
Seems like a bit of a
is at.
stretch. Your implication is that Ubuntus has godlike powers to influence and shape human destiny, and she chose Roman to do that. If you extrapolate that out, why doesn't she do that to someone who has more power, like Xeris or someone else, to like help build this army that you kind of mentioned earlier, or the IGB? Like,
Because maybe other aliens are doing the exact same thing to other people, and that's where Xeris and IGB come in.
I mean, sure, you've added additional theory, but
She might be looking for a certain type of personal characteristic, like, oh, Xeris is too power hungry, so we're not going to go with him.
But there's
sure,
not
he
enough-
has a
what-
lot of influence, but
sure, but
Somebody with
my
nothing to lose.
right.
my point kind of is, though, like, if you have that level of godlike power, why don't we see more clues in the book?
And
He
that's
wrote
what
it
the
from
Greek-
he wrote it from an omniscient standpoint.
Mhm.
The
Yeah, but
narrator
you don't
specifically.
But you don't necessarily want to give all of that away if that's
I'm not saying give it
like
away,
your
but there
big
should
reveal.
be inclinations, there should be inklings, there should be clues.
Well, maybe
there should
the episodes with Jerick maybe those are the the hints or whatever.
It's giving me Greek gods. Okay, so like you have Mount Olympus, you have the Greek gods. They are not omnipotent, but they can influence humanity in certain ways, through choosing certain people or changing destiny or something like that, or even just straight up murdering a certain amount of people because they feel like they didn't create humanity, but they have influence, or no, they created humanity and they have influence over them, but they still need humanity. They live off their prayers, they feed on their prayers and their worship. Maybe the aliens don't need that, but maybe they need the humans for a different reason that we don't know yet.
I don't believe that your quoting of Greek mythology is canon. I think that that's something that people came up with for modern retellings.
Maybe.
The need for humans to be praying to them to keep them around. That's like a show that was created about a decade ago.
Maybe. I'm not
Unless
a Greek.
someone can cite sources.
I'm not a Greek.
I don't recall that.
Philosopher, so I don't, or not philosopher, historian.
You're also not a Greek philosopher. I'll tell you
Also
that
not.
much. Standing in the town square, I know that I don't know anything. Socrates, we love you.
A wise man knows how little he knows.
Says a non-wise man.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah.
Now that I've debunked
I'm
Matt's
just farting
theory.
out conspiracies now. You didn't debunk it. Watch me be right.
It doesn't give those vibes though. It absolutely does not. Because
there's
mean,
more to it. There's more to it, and I don't know what it is. That's why I'm just theory
that I will
crafting
concede. Yeah. There's absolutely going to be more. I mean, there's 6 more books, right? And like comics and all this jazz. But it doesn't give the vibes of like Nicholas as an author from the conversation we had before, and then the one we're going to have soon. From the way that he's written Roman chooses his actions. Like, it's the development of a man refining purpose. It's the development of him like, I'm going to choose to do this thing. I don't have to take your job. Actually, I will take it. There's no sort of... The only instance that I might say is in your favor is when he's talking to the monk guy at the end, where he talks about the pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't even like a force. It's just like the universe seeking equilibrium, to quote the book. It's not a force that is wielded.
Well, that's so. Again, that going back to Star Wars. The Force is all about balance. The Force needs to be in balance. If it swings too far to one, it created Anakin, the chosen one, to swing it back the other way.
Are you enjoying today's side quest? Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. We are available on YouTube and all major platforms, so you can listen to us anywhere. And now, back to the show.
I'm not a god. I don't know. I'm just a guy asking questions,
Asking
making
all them
statements,
questions, making
asking
statements.
all them questions,
Assuming.
Asking all them questions. Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions?
If you know, you know.
Had to be there.
Well, Spencer, Slava, now you guys can fight.
Yeah.
Our round is over. I won. Matt lost. Next up.
Well, what are we going to fight about?
Oh gosh.
I know.
I don't know. Land this plane or
Monique.
something.
Monique's alive, and I don't care what you say about it.
All right. Bitch is dead.
Wow. These guys are riveting, Matt.
I
think it's your and my
this
podcast
is
now.
exciting.
Spencer and
When
Slava
it's about
are...
Star Wars, it's Darth, Slava, and Matt's podcast. When it's about Vitalerium, it's Jonathan and Matt.
And when it's Hail Mary, then it's my podcast.
There you go. There you go.
The Neighborhood Side Quest podcast.
Something.
Never mind. It wasn't funny. It's the first non-funny thing I've said all day.
Cut.
Well, not the first.
That's definitely
No,
not
it's
the
the
first,
first.
and it won't be the last.
It's absolutely the last. I got a lot of good material up here.
That's what
Tell
you
us a
say.
joke, Jonathan.
Tell us a joke. Be a funny. Do a funny.
Do a
Yeah.
funny?
Give us humor.
I did hear one of the greatest Chuck Norris jokes yesterday. And
Ooh, do tell.
I hope it makes people laugh, but it might offend some. Chuck Norris once told a woman to calm down. And she did. I learned that. This is so funny.
What are we gonna do when Chuck's dead?
That's great.
He doesn't die. He goes
Keanu
to hell
Reeves.
and then kicks it back up. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He does earth downs.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a video of Chuck Norris having Chuck Norris jokes read to him.
Yep.
And I think he chuckles at like two of them. The rest of them
Yeah.
he's like, I don't understand what this means.
He's an old man now, man.
Yeah.
He's an old guy.
Freaking boomer.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah. What kind of side quest story would you like to see in Vitalerium?
I already know what Jonathan's going to say.
You don't
Stories from the
know-
grind.
You don't know what I'm gonna say.
Stories from the grind.
You guys hack my
I
computer?
would like to
I'm
see...
writing fanfics.
I would like to see a sidekick. Something a little bit more permanent.
A Robin to the Batman.
Kind of. And not so much as a lover either, but somebody who adds to Roman and doesn't take away whenever he's in the room. Like a Han Solo to Luke.
Maybe Braxton will be that.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'd
Could
like
be.
to learn a little bit more about Braxton.
Could
Braxton
be.
seemed a little bit shoehorned to me. I think that's one of my biggest
What do you mean
qualms,
shoehorn?
I think.
What do you mean?
So he comes in late into the book, gets framed. It's more for the CP to just enforce more dystopian power. It seemed very Orwellian. Oh, surprise! You're now framed because you didn't do something that made my mission go the way I wanted it to.
Yep.
Then he goes to jail, and it's like, oh, okay, so that is a thing that happened. And then Roman gets captured, goes through this thing, and then Braxton is like, hey man, I can help you out here. And it seemed a little shoehorned, and I think that's just lack of character for Braxton. So that's the character that I thought is going to be like the sidekick. Because even when everybody was bowing down to Roman at the end, even Braxton and Nicholas said it in narration, it's just like, even though Braxton has not known him for very long, he too knelt like everybody else was doing. So I don't know. I'd like to see something a little bit more than just Roman doing Roman things. It'd be fun to see another character, because we got a little taste of that with the mission with Dieter, Nails, and Strider. So having him interact during missions with people other than Spooky Jerick, I think would be cool.
Yeah, but
Other side quests?
I think Braxton would be a nice sidekick foil kind of to Roman. If it was Nails all the way through, it would be hilarious. Because Roman would just be constantly annoyed as hell.
Yeah.
But Braxton is kind of like the jock, right?
Mm-hmm. Nails would have stole the show for sure.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
Braxton's
I'd like to see.
a CP, a former CP guard, so that creates tension where Roman has to continue to trust this
issues.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah. And realize not all CP guards are like the douchebag that murdered his parents.
Spence, what's your side quest that you'd like to see happen in Vitalerium?
I think for me it would be Emmanuel. He like kind of comes in there right at the end. We didn't know about him at least I don't think we knew about him at all previously in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just sort of appears as this other mentor / father figure to Roman. So it'd be kind of, and I think he's from Earth too. So it'd be kind of interesting to see more of his backstory, and then like how he came to Diorum, and then how he ended up being
where he met Roman.
Yeah, where he met Roman, and how their relationship developed.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting kind of backstory, maybe side quest.
He's a cool character. I'm excited to learn more about. Yeah.
A little bit earlier in the book, but it's just like brief historical.
Very, very brief.
One-liners.
Okay. I must have missed that part then.
You know me. I'm always looking for those. I'm always looking for the more.
The grind stories.
That's me.
Riveting.
Wow. Riveting.
Wait for Slava to say something interesting.
No, that is exciting. I think Emmanuel would be a cool character to expand upon. And I don't know how much they can expand on him moving forward, but they can definitely go back into his past and define him a little bit more, spend more time with him.
Yeah,
because he seems like he's very fleshed out, but we don't know much about him, and I don't think he has much more to add to the story.
He does
he's basically
have more to add, and I'll tell you why.
He does, but he's formed Roman, and I want to learn more about the forming ish.
That's a stretch to say that he formed him, but he has more to offer at minimum as a captor. So like Roman's like, hey, you should flee, right? He's like, you need to get out of here, and he's like, you live your pendulum, I'll live mine. I'm gonna stay. These people need me, right? So if Xeris or another bigger power determines that this guy is related to Roman and Roman cares about him, he'll absolutely be captured, tortured, and used to like as a leverage point for Roman. Like that's an easy win for them if they find out about him.
How will they find out about him?
Right. How would they find out about him? Someone has to be trailing Roman, or something, right? Because he doesn't feel like he's going club to club using powers to show off, right?
Yeah.
He's a monk.
Maybe he's got another one of those subdermal tracker things. Maybe that's how they found him.
Could be.
That he had to carve out of Monique.
Didn't he get a call, or the way he set up the meeting with the Wubbitani? Wasn't that how Roman thought he was going to get traced? Because they used the
net. They weren't on the fray or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's how, probably.
Oh, right. Yeah, the call. And he's like, you didn't use the fabric. And he's like, no. He's like, well, then you need to get out of here. You let me live my life. I've made my decisions. You live yours.
Yep.
I'll take the consequences as they fold out, as they unfold.
Yeah.
So, could be.
Maybe a side quest would be saving Emmanuel.
Yeah. And Nick, in our author chat we had with him like a month ago, he said that he's kind of writing it like a video game, like a GTA, like an open sandbox where you can go and do side quests. So I think, to you guys' joke earlier, I think it would be really cool if there was like a series of short stories that are in the grind, that are just like vignettes or sub characters or people that we've met, like Idris, right? The runner left hand. What would that look like? How did that person get there after Roman left? Just a story or two, just a thing here and there. So,
right. Well, before we continue, let's say goodbye to Matt, because his schedule demands that he leave us. And then we'll continue bantering about whatever.
Who else am I going to fight with?
Well, we'll fight plenty more. There's plenty more Vitalerium to fight about.
Well, there better be.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you much for having
See
me
you,
on.
Matt.
We'll see
Yeah.
you
Matt.
guys next time.
I just wanted to mention the glowworm raid. I guess that Roman and Valeria's men that he's with. They go to rescue. Is it Valeria's sister?
Cousin.
Cousin.
Yep. Windy.
Yep.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite sequences in the book. It was just kind of neat to see Roman having to work with somebody else for a change. He's definitely, I think as was mentioned before, he's this lone wolf, character, likes to do everything by himself. So I liked to see, that he had to work with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And Nails was a good comic relief, I think. In that whole sequence kind of reminded me a little bit of this sort of Guardians of the Galaxy type vibe, just that the crew has. I mean, obviously they don't know each other that well, but
Yeah.
I feel like the way they all sort of interacted kind of gave me those vibes just a little bit. So that was a good sequence. And yeah, I was a little disappointed that Nails died, but I feel like he died in a pretty epic way. He just tosses a grenade. But no, so I just wanted to kind of point that out. I think that was a fun scene, and I'm glad that Nick put that in there.
Yeah, Nails was fun, and his death was, like I think was mentioned earlier, on his own terms, and he went out just taking everybody out.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
How did you take that scene? What did you feel about it?
I find it curious that the author kills two characters in a single book. I like Nails. He was fun. I wish we saw a little more crazy before he reveals the nuclear bomb he's basically carrying. And also, how did he afford that? Because Vitalerium's not cheap. Or did he steal it? Right? There's just a lot of questions I have. What's his history? Is he a Locke Lamora type? Doesn't really strike me as the ability to be a thief based on his personality, we'll say.
They work for Valeria, and she's, a mega pop star, so she's got a lot of money. So to me, it would stand to reason that he somehow gets his money from her. Not sure what his salary would be, based on.
He makes extra money on the side,
Yeah.
selling.
Yeah, that's probably
Selling nose
it,
candy.
too.
I'm gonna say this back to you in modern terms. Do you think that Taylor Swift could buy a nuclear bomb?
Yeah.
She's a billionaire,
Yes.
so yeah.
Yes.
I
Could.
don't. I actually don't think that she could get a nuclear bomb.
You mean today's modern, non-dystopian Western world on Earth? Yes, probably not.
Right. Like, it's not like she's just gonna go to Lockheed Martin and be like, "Hey, build me a bomb."
Can you guys? You got any on the shelf? I need one. Travis and I are breaking up.
Need one of these.
Right, Travis? That's the guy she's dating.
Yeah,
too?
yeah. Travis
Something.
Kelsey.
Oh, Swift? Yeah, she's Travis Kelsey, a football player.
Yep.
Something about the football. Yes. So there's things. It's surprising. Could you get plutonium? Maybe from the Russians, right? But this is it. Right? Like, this is how my mind works. If you've been here for a while, welcome back. I ask questions like this. I go, okay, this guy has this very cool. It works for the story. It's fun, but in terms of the scene, I'm like, man, that's really expensive. People are literally gonna come and try and kill Roman because he has this thing lodged in his his face and his body. That ain't cheap, man. And how does he afford that? Or did he steal it? If he stole it, why is he not dead? Because other people can't get their hands on it. So these are just the questions that I ask. Sorry, Nick. Wherever you might be.
Right behind you, the garrote.
That should be the thumbnail. It's just Nick standing behind me and me going.
Perfect. Love it.
Mark it.
Cut and print.
Did Matt even talk about the wormhole stuff? I don't
No, yes. In the beginning of the episode, he said he wanted to. That's what he wanted to focus on, and we didn't get there.
Yeah.
You guys were too busy fighting about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So speaking about how Jonathan's mind works, I want to talk about the torture scene that happens in his book where Roman is captured and he's tortured by that psychopath and then the second psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the way that scene, it felt drawn out in the best possible way. Like, not that it was too much of it, but the fact that it lasted as long as it did seemed very realistic to me for a torture scene. And Roman almost being broken, and then them showing him pictures of dead Monique and messing with his head. All that I think was done well, but what stood out to me is the type of torture that happened. Like, they were putting him under or attacking his brain and like feeding his brain pain messages. Like, that was very unique. I thought that was, well, it just surprised me. The way it jumped off the page, I was like, oh wow, this is a completely different type of torture scene.
Futuristic torture.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the scene.
I've never read anything that had a unique torture scene before. I guess I'll say like a futuristic torture scene. It's always more primal and brutal. Pop the guy's kneecap with a gun, pull off their toenails one by one, break a finger or two, right?
Interesting. What kind of books have you been reading?
Oh, those aren't books.
Snuff films. What kind of snuff films have you been watching?
Yeah, they're films.
Making?
Anyway.
What kind of snuff films have you been making?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay,
fine.
Very fair enough. So mind torture.
Yeah.
Again, unique, well done, and it was, the way it was described had to be excruciating. Like, it wasn't just some sort of mind f***ery or a little bit of pain or some kind of deep dive into Roman psyche. The way I remember it, it was full body pain.
Oh yeah.
Just
well, and that's why his
excruciating.
body just instantly reacts. Like it has become one with the Vitalerium, right?
Yeah.
And so it's we assume assimilated into his body physiology. And so his body responding is like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. Because we learned when Norval was throwing a soccer ball at him, he's like, oh, hey, get your adrenaline pumping. You think that torture's not going to get his adrenaline pumping?
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's why he kills everybody in the room with whatever
it melts
explosion
the room
comes
down.
out.
Yeah. It's really, it's captivating how he has this, I guess I'll call it pent up energy just built up because of Vitalerium, but doesn't die. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how Nicholas is going to shape this superpower. Because is it just a force bubble that he can use that sometimes melts down? Probably not, right? But is it telekinesis? Also probably not, right? Like,
I mean, maybe a little, because you have some of the hybrids are like, I think they call them telex or something like that in the book.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So, like, they have very minor telekinesis. So I feel like Roman at some point would be able to develop that. You know, I'm not, I don't know if that's where Nicholas is taking the abilities, but I feel like, based on things we've already seen, that could happen.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. What this is a fun question. What would you guys like to see the power developed into? No holds barred. Like, what would a unique fun take be in your mind?
Like him being able to shoot lasers or plasma rays.
So Superman eyes.
Was that
Superman eyes?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Superman
Cyclops.
eyes or Superman hands or whatever the hell it is. Because if he creates these orbs of energy to protect him, and then he creates this orb of energy that destroys a room. Why not it be a focused source of energy that shoots whatever, lasers, plasma, a force of not nature, but a force of Vitalerium, a ray of Vitalerium.
A source of it that he can
uses as a weapon. Instead of a defensive structure or an explosion that comes out of his body.
A spirit bomb, if you will.
A spirit bomb?
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference. I wish Matt was here.
Sure. Or a spirit ball bomb or ray.
You're always talking about balls. You good over there, bro?
Not always. But I am good over here with my balls. Yeah. Blue balls. It could be called blue balls. He wakes up every morning with pent-up energy. No? You walked into those.
I didn't walk into anything. You
foisted my balls on you?
I'm looking for a new podcast host, if anyone's interested.
You keep
Slava
saying
will be
that.
Incapacitated moving forward with his blue balls in hand.
In hand, wow.
What you do off cam is what you do off cam. You can leave it. We don't have to talk about it. I would like to see Roman get the ability to turn invisible. What?
Speaking of off-cam shenanigans.
Yeah. Okay. No. That's a... Sorry.
Why is that funny?
Because why? Invisible.
I'm thinking about how the Vitilium is going to affect him. He could become transparent.
It's
a superpower, Slava.
I don't see it.
It's a superpower. Superpower.
No, I understand
Superpower.
how superpowers work.
I don't think you do.
But invisible? I don't see it working in this world. It seemed too far-fetched.
I said no holds barred.
All right. Well, then, yes, he's invisible. But what does he do with it? Now I'm just doing you. I'm playing the contrarian. I'm doing you. Okay. In this world, Roman is invisible. What does he do? Like gives
Xeris.
wedgies to the Wubbitani?
He's going to use it for amateur pranks.
Well, what else would you use it for?
Thanks, Vitalerium, for giving me this superpower. I can't wait to prank my friends. It would allow him the ability to hide because everyone's going to come after him.
Okay. And then it's over by chapter 4 in book 2. He's just invisible and he hides.
It's not indefinite invisibility. He's not.
So momentary invisibility. He can just turn it on and then.
It's cloaking. Yeah.
Okay.
There's got to be a negative side to your superpower. Otherwise, I don't know if you guys know the history of Superman. People stopped reading the comic because he was too powerful. Do you know this?
And that's why kryptonite was introduced?
Absolutely, yeah. Go look it up. Yeah, because people were like, "Oh, this guy's too good, so he's too powerful. We can't. I'm not interested anymore."
I know very little about Superman. I was never interested.
Well, there was no villain powerful enough. I mean, you already created the most powerful being, so how do you even create a villain to rival that?
So then there was kryptonite, and then there was he gets his power from the sun. Yeah. They had to introduce weaknesses to make him have something to overcome.
Like Lex Luthor would never be able to stand up against Superman in a real fight, even if you brought in advanced tech and stuff.
Yeah,
unless he's wearing a suit of kryptonite, right?
Right. Well, that's why I said Lex Luthor has to have another ace up his sleeve. In this case, kryptonite.
Right.
Yeah, or blocking him from the sun, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, make fun of the invisibility part. Make fun of my creative brain. Okay.
I think it would be cool to see. I've always been fascinated by, Superman, for instance, who can fly. It'd be, no holds barred. Roman can fly. Somehow he uses the power of Vitalerium to fly. I don't even know what.
That's actually a fascinating.
Fly
I think it would be cool.
See, that's more attuned to
the
world.
Are you about to say realistic?
Realistic.
That's more realistic.
Humans flying on their own is realistic, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Birds
Even
are the government.
flying with blue shards in their your face or butt or whatever it is that is powerful enough to bend time and space. They can fly.
Okay. On this topic of superheroes, what's your favorite superpower? Not in Vitalerium, Slava, because I feel like for you I need to specify.
I would say...
Wrong.
I like Doctor Strange's powers.
How would you describe his powers?
He's able to bend space and time. He's able to teleport through dimensions. So, I like that. But if we're going to do more quote-unquote realistic,
No.
like Earthbound, superhuman.
Any superpower, any superhero IP is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Doctor Strange. I like Magneto. Magneto's my favorite Marvel character. So I'll just go with Magneto because he's my favorite. Bending metal, being magnetic.
Spency?
Spency, yep.
Spency's my favorite superhero.
No, I think my favorite superhero... Well, I don't know if he's my favorite superhero. So Superman is my favorite hero, but the Flash's super speed, I think, is a very fascinating power because if he can go fast enough, he can turn back time, and there's been shows and stuff, comics written about that. So I think that would be very cool. I mean, I feel like you're almost invincible if you're too fast to catch.
Yeah.
Do you ever
like
watch The Boys?
If you can, the what?
The Boys. Sorry, finish your thought.
I've seen season 1, but yeah. Anyway, I think super speed, like the Flash, is a very cool power. Like, there's a lot that the Flash can actually do with it.
Yeah.
My choice is similar to things you've both mentioned, but I think more pronounced is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's ability is through space and time. Nope, through space and time. He basically can teleport because his father was a demon and his mother was the woman that we see in... she's that diamond woman. She's made of diamonds. And somehow they birthed a son who...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the woman is the one who could take any shape. Who's the blue woman?
Mystique.
Mystique, yeah. I like her.
But it's curious to me that we all picked time-bending things as part of our superpower.
Yeah.
What are we trying to go back and fix, gentlemen?
I want to go back to about January 2020. Pick a new podcast host.
Cool.
Never mind the world-altering virus
No, that's fine.
that we
That's
had.
fine.
Yeah.
He just wants to have a new podcast host. Cool. Great.
Well, if
I
I'm
feel
being
really good about myself now. Thank you.
Hey, listen, you're looking for a new podcast host already. I'm going back in time so that never happens.
All right, we've degraded here. Very good, very good.
Yeah. So overall, guys, our usual, we don't have to do the rating system, but overall, feels about the book, I'm giving it 10 out of 10, whatever it is. I love the book from start to finish. I enjoyed the hook in the beginning because the history is fascinating. As I've mentioned to Nick during our interview, the commentary, and I mentioned this to you guys in previous episodes, the commentary on humanity was well done because it set up a different power, if you will, to be involved in this book. And it set up the history, and the commentary set up the world for me. I knew what kind of dark, gritty world I was going into. And then Roman, and how we get glimpses of him, being a good guy, having heart. I thought that was well done. The revenge in the beginning set him up as the hard ass he was going to become. Monique and what she did for Roman, all the stuff that we've talked about almost ad nauseum now. I think the execution of the book from start to finish by a first-time writer especially, flawless. I thought it was really well done, and I love the book, and I can't wait to read more of Roman, the grind, and his merry men of Wubbitani.
That's a generous rating there, Slava. 10 out of 10. I would probably do like 7 out of 10. I think world building was really good. I know. Surprise. Like I said, world building was really good. I think, the backstory, that we get was good. The ended on a cliffhanger. I appreciated that. I like the setup in the epilogue for book 2. I just think I would have liked a little bit more out of the character development. I felt like there were just some things that felt a little too rushed, in my opinion, as far as like his Roman's relationship with Monique. It to me just felt a little bit rushed. And then even with Modus, although I mean there's a lot of backstory I guess that we don't get between him and Modus, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, so that I guess that's my one complaint. As I feel like there could have been maybe a little bit more. It just seemed a little too rushed. I mean, the whole story. I mean, once we pick up in the in real time with Roman, I mean, it's only like 4 weeks or something. Between
it's quick.
So like in that 4 weeks,
and 1 week is him going on
a bender. Yeah. So in
maybe
that
it's 5
time,
weeks.
He meets and falls in love with Monique, and they have this really great relationship, and it just feels a little rushed. Maybe not great, but the way the way they interact with each other, it felt like they interact as if they'd known each other for many years, and it just felt a little bit rushed to me. But other than that, again, great world building, great narrative, great setup. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you on some of your points, Spencer. When I was listening to the book, there's events that felt a little rushed. The one thing I'll push back on is Roman and Monique's relationship and how they became so close so quick. I think it's because of the trauma bonding. They know this world well. They come from the same world. They've been drinking and banging for a week. I think the fact that by the end of that they're close, I think makes sense. And my generous, as you say, 10 out of 10 was I'm considering the following. First-time author, and that's the objective part, as objective as we can get. The subjective part of that is from page 1 to the last page, I was hooked. And just like Matt, there were times, even when I'm reading it and agreeing with you, oh, this is a little bit rushed. Oh, well, this happened really quickly. Even though I'm thinking the same stuff, Spence, I'm still flipping the page and going, okay, what's next? What happens next? This is exciting. This is enticing. So that's why I'm giving it such a generous rating, is because I started listening to it and I couldn't wait to finish it. And I had to stop listening for about a week and a half or 2 weeks because I wanted to finish another book that was hanging over my head. So I went back to that book. I was doing some editing. We were onboarding an intern and onboarding Paris, our editor. It was just so much going on, so I took a break. And during that break, I was like fiending to finish Vitalerium. And then when I got back into it, I finished it in like 2 days, the rest of the book. And so that's where my generosity, if you will, where my rating comes from. Because it was just, to me, it hit everything out of the park. And again, I'll end with this. First-time author to do this, for me, he's getting 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no, that you make some good points there.
Yeah,
I'll bump mine up to 8.
Excellent.
Just an 8, not even an 8.5.
8.2. 8.2.
You're ruthless.
8.25.
There it is. Yeah.
Ruthless.
That's still
over
freaking
here.
good. No, that's still freaking good. Nobody should be worried about that, because, and I'll use food as an analogy again. I was talking to some of my coworkers, and they asked me what I was eating. Went to like a new restaurant that opened up nearby. What I was eating, like, what's your rating for that, Slava? And I said, 4 out of 10. And they're like, well, why are you eating it then? Like, isn't it bad? I'm like, no, it's 4 out of 10. Like, on the scale of food, on a scale of things that I've eaten, it's a 4. Mm-hmm. And I'll eat it again because it's sustenance and it's food. Like, I wouldn't eat a 1 again. If it was a 5, it'd be your average. It was a burger thing. If it was 5, it'd be your average burger, and I would eat it all the time because it's 5 out of 10. It's a burger, but it was a little dry. The fries weren't as salty as I wanted them, but it wasn't disgusting. So 8 out of 10 is freaking good. It's a really good rating for a book.
Thanks for dismantling my hassling of Spencer. That makes me feel good, too.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. But to your point about food, I was just in Nashville for a trade show, and honestly, I had one meal that was like a 7 or an 8. Everything else was a 4 in Nashville. I was like, the brisket wasn't great. The barbecue sauce was not great. Yeah. The hot chicken sandwich was like a notch above Chick-fil-A, but with the accolades that it was being spoken about, I expected to live up to a little bit better. It was not. It was like Popeye's chicken, basically, which is good. I like Popeye's, but it's just like, okay, but that's a 5. It's like most meals are a neutral. Like, frankly, home cooked meals nowadays start at a 7 because you're like, stuff out in the world is just very mediocre.
Yeah, and then
it's all processed or manufactured, so
absolutely. And there's different ways to break up these ratings. Is it a 10 out of 10 out of all of literature? No, and that's no dig at Nicholas either. No, but for the genre, for what we're doing, it is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
and maybe we need to evolve our rating system, Slava, where there's like, is this a localized rating, or and this is not something that needs to be. Well, I'd probably actually build this into a system. Never mind. I'll stop my question. I'll just okay.
But I know what you're getting. Yeah, maybe we should.
Multi-layered
rating. Yeah.
What's the genre rating versus like factoring in? I think I'm
well, I'm fully admitting that my 10 out of 10 is me personally because I enjoyed it so much. I'm giving him extra points for me for doing what he did to me.
Mine's a 9 out of 10 because, again, look, I've tried to write a book. I spent 7 years writing a book. It's not published. Like, if you published a book, it's a 5. China Mayville, I know I gave him a bad rating, but it's a 5. Like, the execution wasn't great, middle of the road, whatever. And I hope he gets tons of book sales because of how much I vent about this.
Yeah.
They have to go see if it's actually as bad as you say it is.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, like, as a first-time author, and yeah, there's questions, but the thing is, like, I've trauma bonded with a gal before, more than once. So, like, it was kind of like that. Kind of like a crash and burn kind of ordeal, where it just, like, happens, and you're like, oh, man, this is great, and you're all lovey-dovey, and then you're like, actually, I hate you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because reasons. Which we won't. Yeah. This is not a therapy session, so we won't get into it. But
no, tell us, Jonathan. Tell us. No, you don't have to. I'm kidding.
I'm not going to do that right now. That'll be side quest after dark. We'll have to have more adult themes. But 9 out of 10 for like absolutely what he could achieve here. But I am a little bit Spencer. I lean a little bit towards you, whereas like I felt like the Monique thing was rushed, but as a book as a whole, I really felt like it needed another 7-8 chapters. Just like scattered through, not even like a single spot, but like a little bit, just a little bit. That's why like when we talk to him in our next episode, I can't wait to tell him like, hey, I hope book 2's a little bit longer because I really would not be upset if there was 60 chapters at the length that he has them, right? I'm not talking Stormlight, right? Stormlight length book chapters, but like 60 chapters of what he wrote here, like, very doable. Like, I would absolutely read that.
It doubles the book, right?
It doubles the book.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing that he could improve on is subplots.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's, to quote Slavic, that's not saying it's bad. It's just an area. But this is like book 1, which is like the most impressive part to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like,
and there may be
fanboying about this.
Yeah, there might be more subplots going on that we just don't know yet because we haven't seen the whole overarching story yet. He's still got 6 other books or something like that.
Right, absolutely.
And he's talking. Well, he's not talking. He's writing comic books that are vignettes from before the beginning of this book, in the middle of this book, and throughout the whole series. There's going to be comic books that give deep dives, maybe. Deep dives and vignettes of the world, right? So the way he's setting this up, we will get our questions answered. We'll get our itches scratched if we, expand beyond the immediate book that we're
stay
in.
with the characters in the story. Yeah, I'm sure we will. But that in authors who are more veteran or more seasoned, their books have a main plot, a few subplots, character development. Like they have, there's just the layering is clearer. To go back to your food analogy, it's because they've been chefs at master restaurants with Michelin stars for years, where they can go, I can put a pistachio thing on the rim of the plate and then use some sort of like salt vinaigrette thing on my piece of tuna. That when you bite it, you'll get both. But they know how to do that because they've been working as a chef for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
This is his first book.
And some of those things are pulled out of their posteriors. Because they've been cooking for 20, 30 years, they're like, oh, you know what would go good with this sauce is a little bit of pistachios. Because the salt from this and the pistachio taste from that will accentuate the thing that I'm doing with this part of the meal. So, absolutely. Please continue, Jonathan. And take us away. Take us off. Whack. Finish.
I'm not going to
finish us
take
off.
anything off of you.
Finish us off.
Please don't.
Relieve the blue balls.
Thank you all for joining us on SideQuest today. Please be sure to buy Vitalerium and let Nick know that you heard about us on the SideQuest podcast. Be sure to stay tuned next time if you can
for Nick.
Come back for Nick to join us.
Phrasing.
Because Slava's a degenerate and I need your help to help me overpower him in the comments. Be sure to share this with your friends who like books. See you later. I have a favor to ask you. If you like what we're doing, the simplest way to support the show is to hit subscribe. In return, we'll keep leveling up, and we'll listen to your feedback and read authors that you suggest. And of course, we'll take side quests along the way. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.